There's a pattern in the animal kingdom that nobody really talks about, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The dog, fast breaths, short life. The tortoise, slow, deep breaths, lives for centuries. The mouse breathes around 150 times a minute and is dead in 2 years. The bowhead whale takes long, deliberate breaths and lives past 200. That's not random. Researchers have known for decades that breathing rate correlates directly with lifespan across almost every species on Earth. Faster breathing, shorter life. It's called the oxygen paradox, and most of us are on the wrong side of it. Right now, the average person takes 15 to 20 shallow breaths a minute. We're chronically overbreathing, and it's starving our cells of the oxygen balance they need. There's a term for it, chronic tissue hypoxia, and it's one of the primary drivers of premature cellular aging. But here's what's interesting. Himalayan monks figured out how to reverse this thousands of years ago. Sufi mystics built entire sciences around it. Harvard researchers are now confirming the same mechanisms in the lab. What they all converge on is a 2-minute morning sequence, 3 phases, no equipment, that can trigger the literal regrowth of your cellular engines from scratch. That's what this video is about. One quick note before we dive in. Please don't skip this. Consult your doctor first if you have a heart condition, epilepsy, uncontrolled high blood pressure, asthma, COPD, glaucoma, anxiety disorders, PTSD, or if you're pregnant. This video is for education only and is not medical advice. If you're in good general health, let's get into the science. Let's start with what's actually happening inside you. Right now, inside every cell in your body, there are hundreds, sometimes thousands, of tiny structures called mitochondria. These are your cellular engines. They take the food you eat and the air you breathe and convert it into ATP, the actual energy currency your body runs on. Every heartbeat, every thought, every time you lift your arm, mitochondria are powering it. But after around age 40, something alarming begins to happen. Your mitochondria don't just slow down, they physically collapse. Their membranes crack, they fragment, and when they do, they stop producing clean energy and start leaking toxic byproducts into your cells instead. Scientists call this mitochondrial dysfunction, and it's not a rare disease. It's happening to almost every adult alive right now. Between the ages of 40 and 70, your ATP production, the raw fuel your body makes, can drop by nearly 50%. And here's the kicker. Your NAD+, which is the molecule your cells use to repair and regenerate themselves, drops by roughly the same amount. This is why you feel that 3 p.m. crash that wasn't there in your 20s. It's why your brain feels foggy on days when nothing is technically wrong. It's why recovery takes longer, sleep feels less restoring, and you just feel dimmer than you used to. Your body isn't betraying you. It's running on half a tank. The question is, can you refill it? Can you actually grow new mitochondria? The answer, according to modern science, is yes. And the switch that makes it happen is more accessible than you'd ever guess. For thousands of years, long before anyone had heard of mitochondria, ancient traditions were quietly solving this problem. In Tibet, there was a practice called tumo, the inner fire, where monks could raise their body temperature in freezing conditions through breath and intention alone. Visitors reported watching them sit outdoors in sub-zero temperatures, steam literally rising off their bodies. In the Han Dynasty, texts on Qigong described cultivating the internal fire as the key to longevity. In the Vedic tradition, they called it prana vayu, the direction of life force energy. But there's a fourth tradition that almost never gets mentioned in these conversations, and it may be the most sophisticated of all. In the Sufi tradition, the mystical branch of Islam, breath was considered the most sacred science a human being could master. They called it nafas, a word meaning simultaneously breath, self, and soul. Their practice was breath retention after a full exhale, physiologically identical to what modern breathwork researchers now study in labs. And they made a distinction that science is only beginning to catch up with, which they said transforms it at the deepest level. Dense breath keeps you alive. Fine breath makes you younger. Different cultures, different languages, same biological discovery. Modern science didn't catch up until 2012, when a landmark paper published in the Journal of Cell Science identified a protein called PGC1-alpha. This protein is now considered a master regulator of cellular energy. When you activate PGC1-alpha, it sends a signal throughout your body that triggers something called mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of brand new mitochondria. You're not repairing the old broken-down engines, you are growing new ones. So what activates this switch? Two things specifically. Controlled hypoxia, deliberately restricting your breath in a safe, structured way, and cold exposure. Both of these work through a process called hormesis. Hormesis is when a small, controlled stress forces your body to adapt and come back stronger. And when you combine both triggers together, the signal multiplies, which is exactly what the ritual we're about to cover does. Phase 1. The breath. Breathwork safety. Always do this seated or lying down, never standing, never near water, and never while driving. Fainting without warning is a real possibility during breath retention, even in healthy individuals. If you feel severe dizziness or chest pain, stop immediately and contact your healthcare provider. All right, let's get into the actual protocol. This is phase 1. You're going to do a 60-second breathing sequence rooted in classical Tumo technique, adapted for daily life. You don't need a meditation retreat. You need a chair and about a minute. Sit upright, cross-legged, in a chair, on the edge of your bed, whatever works. The key is that your spine is long and your chest is open. Now take 30 deep, powerful breaths. Inhale through the nose, let the belly fill first, then the chest expand on top of it, then a relaxed, passive exhale. Don't force the exhale, just let it fall. Don't pause between breaths. You want to build momentum. Each breath is full and deliberate, but the pace is continuous. Think of it like waves, one right after the other. By breath 15 or 20, you may feel a tingling in your hands, your face, maybe a lightness in your head. That's normal. That's your CO2 balance shifting. Don't stop, unless you're feeling genuinely dizzy, in which case slow down, breathe normally, and let it pass before continuing. After the 30th breath, exhale completely. Let every last bit of air leave your lungs. And then, hold. Don't breathe. Sit in that stillness for 30 to 60 seconds. This is called kumbhaka in the yogic tradition, the retention. What's happening right now is extraordinary. The CO2 that's been building in your bloodstream is recalibrating your Bohr effect, the mechanism that determines how efficiently your red blood cells release oxygen to your tissues. You are literally reversing the cellular oxygen debt that's been building up. When you finally need to breathe again, and you'll know, take one deep, full inhale and hold it for 15 seconds. Press that breath gently into your chest and your skull. Feel the pressure. Then slowly release. That's phase 1, 1 minute. Powerful enough that some people feel its effects within the first 3 days. Phase 2, the cold shock. Cold exposure safety. Skip this phase if you have a heart condition, uncontrolled hypertension, Raynaud's disease, trigeminal neuralgia, or are prone to migraines. Cold water triggers the diving reflex, which immediately drops heart rate and constricts blood vessels. This is beneficial for most healthy people, but can be dangerous for those with cardiovascular vulnerability. Phase 2 takes 30 seconds. Fill a bowl with cold water. Cold tap water is fine to start. If you're feeling brave, add some ice. If cold is a big jump, begin cool and build up over time. Your body will acclimatize, and that adaptation is part of the benefit. Submerge your face for 2 intervals of 15 seconds each. Breathe before you go in, stay calm, come up, breathe, go back in. Cold water on your face triggers cold shock proteins, some of the most potent anti-aging compounds your body can produce, and activates brown adipose tissue, which is packed with mitochondria. Combined with the breathwork you just did, the mitochondrial signal doesn't just add, it multiplies. Think of the breath as lighting a match. The cold is the accelerant. Phase 3, the metabolic burst. Exercise safety. If you have acute back, knee, shoulder, or hip injuries, or are managing hypertension, modify or skip movements that aggravate your condition. The wall sit, in particular, raises blood pressure significantly during the hold. Those with cardiovascular concerns should choose air squats instead. Never push through sharp joint pain. Phase 3 activates AMPK, your body's low fuel sensor. When it fires, it triggers autophagy, your cellular cleanup process, and switches on the same longevity genes that a 24-hour fast activates. You just need 30 seconds of intensity to get there. Pick one. Option 1, the plank hold. Forearms down, elbows under shoulders, body in one straight line from head to heels. Squeeze your glutes, push the floor away, chin slightly tucked. Hold until your hips drop. Not ready for full plank? Drop to your knees. Option 2, air squats. Feet shoulder width, toes slightly out. Sit back and down, chest tall, knees tracking over your toes, hip crease below the knee at the bottom. Drive the floor away on the way up. Aim for 20 to 30 reps. Option 3, the wall sit. Back flat to the wall, thighs parallel to the floor, shins vertical. Arms at your sides, don't rest them on your legs. Hold. The burn in your quads within the first 10 seconds is exactly the signal you're looking for. The last 10 seconds are where the biology changes. That's AMPK activating. In 30 seconds, you've switched on the same longevity genes as a 24-hour fast. Now let's talk about what you can actually expect. This isn't fringe wellness content. Research from UCSF, including work by telomere scientist Dr. Alyssa Eppel, has found that regular breathwork and stress reduction practices are associated with longer telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes that determine how fast your cells age. Shorter telomeres equal faster biological aging. Protecting them matters. A 2014 study out of Radboud University in the Netherlands, looking specifically at practitioners of the Wim Hof method, which shares key mechanisms with what we've described, found measurable changes in autonomic nervous system control and inflammatory markers after just a few weeks. So here's an approximate timeline of what you might experience in practice. Everyone is different, and your results may come sooner, later, or in a different order entirely. Week 1. Energy stabilizes. The afternoon slump becomes noticeably less severe. Some people report better focus within the first 3 to 5 days. Your nervous system is already recalibrating. Week 3. Sleep deepens. Recovery accelerates. You may notice you're waking up feeling more restored than you have in years. Your cold shock protein production is now consistent. Week 8. This is where the structural changes begin. Your mitochondria are proliferating. Inflammation is cooling. People around you start asking what you've changed. One last thing. Straight after the 3 phases, step outside and get some morning sunlight on your face. It sounds almost too simple, but it anchors your circadian rhythm and directly improves your sleep quality overnight. Not through a window, but directly outside. Better sleep means deeper cellular repair. It costs nothing and can change your entire day. Look, aging isn't the problem. The problem is that most people never give their body a reason to rebuild. Mitochondria don't deteriorate just because time passes. They deteriorate because the signal to repair them never arrives. 2 minutes every morning is that signal. That's genuinely all this is. Give it a few weeks and see how you feel. In our next video, we will talk about foods that can also help the mitochondria and which ones to avoid. Hit the subscribe and bell notification button so you don't miss it.